Hi, my name is Corey Willard. I'm a senior in this class, and here's my speech. So, one time at work, I was talking to a meeting with my boss. The meeting was about an employee that was acting out of line. My boss, so you know, normally acting out of line, you have to discipline them. So, my boss told me for my next shift to watch the way he communicates around his other coworkers, but not only to watch, like visually, verbally, what he's saying and how he's interacting, but how the behavior he's showing. So the verbal and the non-verbal behaviors. And so that goes into what I'm going to be talking about verbally. But verbal communication involves words that are spoken and written. Non-verbal communication focuses on expressions, gestures, and body posture. So how, when I'm talking right now, I'm moving my hands. That's just another way to put emphasis. So that's a non-verbal way that I'm communicating. So this is known as interpersonal communication, which actually coexists with verbal communication, hand in hand. They go parallel with each other. Even though these are two separate forms of communication, we make use of these every day involuntarily. See how I just brought my hand up? Didn't even think about it. It just happened. It's a motor function, just like how breathing, how, taking a breath before you talk, that's all involuntary motions. You have to do it, basically. So, before I go on with my speech, you would have to have a reason to believe me. So, personally, I feel that I am credible for two reasons. One, as a communication major, and two, as a millennial on a college campus, I communicate every day, both verbally and non-verbally. Also, I currently work as a facility manager at the University Recreation and Wellness Center, located behind Sobe. And at our school gym, I interact with people of all ages, because our ages, as long as you're 18, you can go inside. So all ages, I have experience with all levels of communication. So I think that, and I interact with that about 4 to 5 times a week. So I feel like I'm an expert in that sense. So all in all, verbal and non-verbal communication are vital aspects in the processing of information in our everyday lives. So that brings me to my first point. So what is verbal communication and how do we use it? Verbal communication requires a specific set of skills that focus on utilizing words to convey information to those around you. That's actually the textbook definition. I believe it's chapter 3 or 4. I can look back at that, but yeah, so as the textbook says. So those term refers to both written and spoken communication. It is primarily used when describing communication through speech, as we're doing right now. So, of course, with everything, there are cons. There are a few cons with verbal communication. Words can very easily get lost in translation due to language barriers. So, speaking between, me and somebody from a different background or something like that. A good example, words can get lost in translation due to language barriers, and also the fact that there's no permanent record. Like, I'm not writing it down. You can't go back and access that information at another time. Once it's said, it's just based off memory, and memory is not 100%. So, now to the next variation. What is nonverbal communication? So, nonverbal communication is the transfer of information through the use of body language, eye contact, facial expressions, gestures, and so on. For example, when you pass by somebody and you smile, no words are being communicated, but it's a surface level. It's automatic, involuntary. You see somebody, you want to smile and say hi without really saying hi, So, you non-verbally communicate every day, whether you like it or not. It is dependent on seeing and evaluating body movements. Like, what do you think I'm trying to do with these movements right now? So, again, back to cons. The major downside of nonverbal communication is that body gestures can be easily misread. Body gestures mean different things among families and cultures of different backgrounds. Saying hello America can be completely different than saying it in Tokyo. So very easily can be misinterpreted. That's why it is important to eliminate as many barriers to nonverbal communication as possible. So just now that we know what these two forms of communication are, I just would like to give you just some tips to improve how we use these forms every day. So there's always room to improve your communication skills since we rely so heavy on it every day. You know, you can always improve on something every day. Nobody's perfect. To improve nonverbal communication, you should pay attention to how your emotions feel throughout the day. If you're happy, sad, how your body reacts when you talk, interact, go into the store, anything like that. You can become aware of patterns you notice in response to nonverbal cues. So, you know, maybe if you're walking home from school and, you know, you notice like there's a person that always goes out to the porch to look at the dog that's going to come down that path, and that dog bit you last time. Now you see non-verbally, every time I see this, that means, oh, the dog's coming, let me go a different way. So just stuff like that. And just to improve verbal communication, you can ask questions, check for clarification. You know, when a teacher's saying a lesson, and you ask questions, say, hey, how do you do that? Hey, could you help me with this? So those are ways to clarify and to improve verbal communication. This will decrease the risk of miscommunication and get the message across clear to the audience that you're trying to target. In conclusion, everyday life is not possible without one or both of these forms of communication. Verbal and nonverbal communication are vital aspects in the processing of information in our everyday lives. Said that before, said it again, it's very important. Without these variations of communication, we will live in a constant confusion state, never understanding what anyone is trying to say. And that's not how anybody wants to live. So that's my essay.